Hey, the internet, y'all got us all the way up, man. We met that dude, Duke the Jeweler, the night before. We was gambling. The next day, dude followed us to the concert. When we left out the concert, we under the garage. Dude went to his car by himself and walked down to the parking lot. That's when somebody tried to kill him.
He's the one that's tied to the dude that makes the loaded dice. Right? Check the play out. All entertainers, when you go to Houston, stay away from J. Prince Jr. A whole play going on. Here go the play right here. The play is a loaded dice.
Welcome back to Fame Flux, where the truth behind fame gets exposed. A bombshell just dropped as 50 Cent has reportedly leaked damning proof connecting Boosie and J. Prince Jr. to the shocking setup of Duke the Jeweler. The respected Chicago jeweler was tragically killed in Houston in 2022, shortly after being seen gambling with both men at a private event. While rumors have circulated ever since, this latest leak could change everything. According to sources close to 50 Cent, the leaked evidence includes surveillance footage, call logs, and eyewitness accounts that suggest Duke may have been intentionally lured to the location under false pretenses. 50 posted a cryptic caption alongside blurred screenshots writing, "They thought nobody would talk. But the streets always remember. This ain't over."
Man, Lord.
You supposed to be mad today.
Man, about to drop it. Oh, you mad? Oh,
That nigga gonna have $1,000 on here.
Social media erupted within minutes, with fans demanding answers and justice. The footage reportedly shows unusual behavior between Boosie's camp and J. Prince Jr.'s entourage just moments before Duke was last seen alive. While neither Boosie nor J. Prince Jr. has responded directly, both have previously denied any involvement in Duke's death. With 50 Cent now pushing the story into the spotlight.
The entertainer invites him in. Act like he's covering for him, hanging out, everything is cool. Let's go here, let's go there, let's go here, let's go there. He introduces the dice game. He got three right, who rotate the dice. Now these dice is loaded. Tell me it's a Wolf, Big Caprice, and watch this, and Little Cam are the loaded dice rotators, right? He said what? There was a situation that occurred that a certain jeweler round and got past the dice on accident and was hitting on them for a couple hundred. They got irritated about that. I ain't gonna go too far into that story because, right, boom. The only way they could get their money back was however their money back. He said, but Lil Cam, Wolf, and Big Caprice are the three designated to say I'm up, I got the next, and they pass the dice to each other, but they loaded, but they shooting.
Pressure is mounting for authorities to re-examine the case. If the leaked material holds up, this could be one of the most explosive revelations in hip-hop crime history, dragging powerful names into the center of a tragedy that's long begged for the truth. Bloodstained dice slid across the velvet table. Everyone smiled, but only one man would leave with his life. Duke the Jeweler didn't die broke. He died surrounded by wolves. And now, there's blood on Mob Ty's hands, and the feds are watching closely. This wasn't a random robbery, it was an execution, plain and calculated. No masked gunman, no dark alley. Duke lost his life after leaving Boosie's dice game, surrounded by individuals who dapped him up one minute and may have been sending silent signals the next. Those same people are now under serious federal pressure, and 50 Cent? He's amplifying the whispers, reposting receipts and hinting that a major setup might have been in motion all along. Here's what makes this entire situation feel straight out of a movie. Just 2 weeks before Takeoff was tragically murdered in a disturbingly similar dice game setting, Duke the Jeweler was the one shutting down the table at a J. Prince Jr. game. And the pattern? It's striking. When the wrong man starts winning, things start to spiral fast. Now, the entire Mob Ties circle is under surveillance. Boosie, J. Prince Jr., Lil Cam, all of them. What began as quiet street chatter is quickly turning into federal-level warning signs. But to really understand this moment, we have to pull back. From a distance, Duke looked like he had it all. A Chicago native who rose up on his own, Duke built his brand with hard work. He wasn't some underground hustler moving basic pieces. He was crafting high-end jewelry for real names, building respect, clientele, and stacking serious money. He didn't come to Houston just to party.
Jeweler. I gotta do my research, see what jeweler might have been down there shooting dice. But nevertheless, to all the entertainers, Dukes of Hazzard was one of my favorite shows, right? I don't know if y'all watched that. I was thinking about Daisy Dukes for a reason. I don't know why I said that. One might go with it, may not go with it, but I don't know. If the math is math, and let it math. But entertainers, beware of with J. Prince Jr. when he talked about let's go shoot some dice. Because the loaded dice crew of 3 Lil Cam, Wolf, and Big Caprice. We know Lil Cam in there because I believe somehow, some way, he was caught up in the dice situation. Rest in peace, Takeoff. I don't know what's going on. But what I do know this, J. Prince Jr. got a whole thing that when y'all come into town, hold on, bro. Didn't they say Fifth Ward earlier that day shooting dice?
Yep.
That's a fact. That word been out, Wack. That word been out. We been got that memo.
And then, so I've been getting hit all day, and it got to the point that the thing, Quavo like getting into dice. That's what this nigga J. Prince Jr., boy, these niggas got all kind of shit going on down there. He said the jeweler nigga got past the dice. He didn't even know the motherfuckers was loaded. He just think he hitting. These niggas is mad as a motherfucker because they like, nigga, how you pass this nigga the loaded dice on us?
He came on business. Reports say Boosie personally invited Duke to Houston to discuss a custom jewelry deal. Duke showed up with a $1 million Louis Vuitton duffel packed with his finest pieces. But what was supposed to be a money move turned into a one-way trip. Now let's zoom in again, right to that dice game. Leaked audio from Whack 100, who has deep connections to street sources, suggests that this wasn't just a casual game of chance, it was something else entirely, allegedly an organized setup. What's now being described by insiders as a loaded dice ring is starting to unravel, and it's all pointing toward a tight trio of familiar faces. According to sources, the same 3 men are always in the mix at these games: Lil Cam, Big Capri, and Wolf. They don't just play, they rotate the dice like clockwork, as if it's some kind of ritual. The rule? The house always wins unless someone slips up. And that night, someone did. Whack 100 claims Duke got his hands on the wrong set of dice, loaded ones not meant for him. Once he started rolling, things got intense. He wasn't just winning, he was stacking fast. First hundreds, then thousands, then tens of thousands. Every win pushed the system further out of control. Because when someone beats a rigged game, those behind it panic, fast. Now let's talk motive. Allegedly, J. Prince Jr. takes 30% of every pot collected on dice nights. So when Duke started draining the table, that wasn't just a lucky streak, it was a direct financial hit. Add to that, Duke's whole vibe that night was loud, flashy, and unapologetic. He came in dripped out, tossing stacks like it was nothing, and filming the whole thing for Instagram. But here's where it turns dark. When you pause the footage from that dice game, subtle moments stand out. Boosie makes a soft whistle. Nothing loud, nothing aggressive. But right after, his nephew turns and locks eyes on Duke. Then, A man in a red hoodie taps Boosie's nephew on the arm, almost like a silent signal. Everything changes. The mood in the room shifts hard. 1 minute, Duke's laughing and tossing dice. The next, the air turns cold. Just minutes later, he's dead. That's not speculation. That's body language. The kind of shift you can't fake. This wasn't just tension, it was a countdown. Because when someone steps into a room where the outcome's already been decided, the energy shifts and the truth, you can feel it in every look and every move. If there's still doubt that this was more than a casual dice game, here's a simple question. Why would a millionaire like Boosie bring a guest carrying over $1 million in jewelry into that environment with no real security? Why would Jay Prince Jr., who runs high-stakes games regularly, not ensure protection for a known out-of-town jeweler flashing that kind of heat? Now rewind to the final moments of Duke the jeweler's life. After a night surrounded by millions in cash, high-profile guests, and flashing lights, Duke didn't leave with a crew. There was no security detail, no team escorting him, no private car waiting outside. He walked alone through a dark Houston parking lot. That alone raises major questions. Within minutes, everything went south. Shots rang out. Duke was ambushed and fatally shot. But here's the twist. When authorities found Duke's body, his jewelry and cash were still on him. Nothing was taken. Not the 7-figure jewelry he wore to Boosie's concert. Not the stacks he brought into the game. It wasn't a robbery. It was something far more deliberate. Now here's the real mic drop. That Louis Vuitton bag Duke was carrying, the one filled with unreleased custom jewelry, didn't disappear into the streets. It was located inside Boosie's house. Let that sink in. Houston police confirmed the bag's recovery. Whether Duke handed the bag to Boosie for safekeeping during the game or whether it was retrieved later is still unclear. But one fact isn't changing. Duke didn't make it home, and the bag did. When questioned, Boosie took to Instagram Live, streaming from a plane. The video was shaky, and the message was strange. He claimed to barely know Duke, insisted Duke just walked off on his own, and distanced himself entirely from the incident. But with the bag ending up in Boosie's possession and the circumstances surrounding Duke's death full of red flags, the story doesn't line up. The streets are talking, the feds are watching, and this case might be far from closed. Hold up! Didn't Boosie say Duke was supposed to make him a custom chain? But then claimed he barely knew him? So why was Duke invited to a private dice game filled with big names, high stakes, and zero protection? And why did no one walk him out after he flashed $1 million in jewelry? Something doesn't add up, and Boosie didn't exactly calm things down. His behavior looked off, pale, anxious, like someone carrying way more than he was letting on. But if you thought that was bad, what happened next took things to another level entirely. The feds, already sniffing around Boosie due to other unrelated legal issues, decided to split Duke's case into its own federal investigation. That's huge. No delays, no bundling it with past charges, just straight, undivided focus on Duke's death. And when federal investigators get serious, they don't miss. First move? They tracked Duke's phone. The last ping before it went dark came from Boosie's personal recording studio. That's right. Unless Duke's phone got up and walked by itself, someone from Boosie's inner circle took it there, and they didn't even bother to wipe it or destroy it. The phone was simply turned off manually. That's what got the feds fired up. Then came the forensic search of Duke's rental car. And what did they find? Fingerprints from Boosie's nephew and Boosie's cousin. The circle was closing in. And just when the situation couldn't get more twisted, a key witness stepped forward. This witness, who was outside smoking near the venue, said they saw Duke walking alone toward his car. Everything looked normal at first, until Boosie's nephew suddenly appeared from the shadows. It looked calculated, like he'd been waiting. Duke, sensing danger, allegedly tried to defend himself. He swung first, but he never stood a chance. In one swift motion, Boosie's nephew reportedly pulled the trigger. No warning, no demand, and importantly, no robbery. They didn't even bother to stage it. No cash or jewelry was taken. This wasn't about money. It wasn't a stick-up. It was something far more chilling. It looked personal, strategic, and planned from the start. This wasn't about theft, it was about silencing someone permanently. And instead of disappearing quietly, the suspects kept the bag. That's not just sloppy, that's blatant arrogance. And one major figure paying close attention to all of it? 50 Cent. There's a known but unspoken rule in hip-hop circles. When artists travel to Houston, they're expected to check in. It's not official policy, but it's very real. Artists, influencers, and even athletes have acknowledged it. Failing to check in with J. Prince Jr. and the Mob Ties network reportedly carries heavy consequences. But here's the uncomfortable truth. What happens when the very people meant to protect you are the ones setting the trap? Let's be absolutely clear. J. Prince Jr. hosted the dice game where Duke the Jeweler was last seen alive. It's the same setup that later played a role in the tragic death of Takeoff. Now, the so-called check-in culture has shifted from providing protection to raising suspicion. If J. Prince Jr. truly held authority over the city like it's claimed, then why have two high-profile individuals lost their lives after supposedly being under his watch? Even Wack 100 couldn't remain quiet. He openly criticized the situation, calling it out as a coordinated setup. According to him, entertainers are invited, greeted warmly, and then led into dice games surrounded by Prince Jr.'s circle. What seems like hospitality quickly turns into isolation. Word is spreading fast. Industry insiders report that artists are beginning to quietly back away from Houston. Labels are pulling out of scheduled events, and the region is becoming increasingly radioactive. Even 50 Cent has begun addressing it subtly, reposting videos, using cryptic captions, and highlighting patterns. Some view this as a bold move. Others believe it's risky. But regardless, his actions reflect growing concern across the industry. He's not alone in thinking it. Many are watching closely, questioning the real power dynamics operating behind the scenes. And when Finesse 2 times landed back in jail, it wasn't his legal team that pulled strings. It was reportedly J. Prince Sr. himself. Working discreetly behind the scenes, he allegedly made key phone calls, and within just 2 weeks, Finesse was released. But instead of distancing himself from the source of the trouble, Finesse returned to the same woman whose actions allegedly led to his arrest. That's when J. Prince Sr. had enough. He went public, taking to Twitter with a direct message. He wrote, "I told the homie to stay the FK away from that woman if he values his life, but he ignored my advice, even after I stepped in to get him out of prison. Y'all better stay sharp out here, thinking these women got your best interest in mind." The situation escalated when new rumors began to circulate. Whispers alleged that J. Prince Jr., not Sr., may have secretly gotten Finesse's partner pregnant. Though unconfirmed, the rumor gained traction fast, and Finesse has yet to deny it. That silence has been louder than any statement. While some observers chalked it up to gossip, others began to notice a disturbing pattern. J. Prince Jr. has been linked to multiple high-profile rifts within the hip-hop community. From his alleged involvement in dice game setups to tensions with Takeoff's family following the rapper's tragic death, the controversy doesn't stop. This ongoing drama continues to shake public trust in the entire Mob Ties circle, exposing deeper fractures and raising fresh questions about loyalty, power, and hidden motives. Tensions are boiling over. The quiet feud between Boosie and Finesse is becoming increasingly public, with Finesse now spiraling in plain sight. Observers are asking, how many bridges can be burned before the entire empire collapses for good? Here's the reality. When a reputation is built on fear, silence, and backroom maneuvers, it only takes one person to break ranks. One artist, one insider, one unexpected witness, any of them could bring everything crashing down. So now the question becomes, will Boosie be the one to talk first? Will Finesse finally reveal what really happened behind closed doors? Or could 50 Cent's relentless campaign to shine light on the Mob Ties circle push J. Prince Jr. into doing what no one ever expected? Break the street code, speak publicly, and attempt to protect himself. The momentum is shifting, and it's clear that the collapse has already begun. Whispers are becoming legal knocks, and the quiet investigations are turning into full-scale scrutiny. Federal agents are now deeply involved, quietly surveying Boosie's entire estate portfolio, including his Baton Rouge mansion and Georgia properties. They're tracing every transaction, analyzing every move. But this case doesn't end with Boosie. Jay Prince Jr. is now facing mounting pressure. Artists are pulling back, labels are creating distance. This isn't simple rap beef, this is full-blown Rico energy, and the stakes are higher than ever. And with Duke's alleged killer possibly caught on tape, everything could unravel with a single video. If that footage ever reaches TMZ or federal investigators, it won't just be headlines, it'll be game over. Let us know in the comments, how do you think this ends? Is the collapse already sealed, or can someone flip the narrative? If you made it this far, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more deep dive coverage into what's really going on behind the scenes. Your support helps keep the truth coming.